Wes is a master numerologist and transformational guide known for translating the energetic patterns of numbers into clear, practical insight. For decades, he's helped leaders, seekers, and organizations understand their purpose, navigate change, and align with their highest potential. Wes's annual forecasts are widely respected for their accuracy and depth. In his 2026 presentation, he reveals how the universal 1 year ignites new beginnings, bold identity shifts, and a powerful call to create our next chapter with intention. So please help me welcome Wes Hamilton.
Thank you. Did a beautiful job. Thank you. Thank you for coming. 2026 is a big year for all of us. We're ending a 1,000-year cycle of time. And this 1,000-year cycle of time has been designed for us to develop our confidence, our independence, our leadership roles, and our ability to be creative in whatever we want. And it's been a really good practice for us. We have learned that. And the reason we've been doing it in the last 1,000 years is because of the number one. And the one in numerology talks about having a confident leadership role to develop whatever you want to create. So we've been doing that for the last 1,000 years. This next 1,000 years is going to be a whole different energy. We're going to start to learn how to work together. We're not so good at that. Most of the time it's all about I. I did this, I want that, I. So it's going to be a training program for all of us. And when we talk about a we energy, we're talking about collaboration, community, cohesion, all those things where we bring things together. And this particular year, 2026, is a turning point. 2025 was the last of that 1,000-year cycle. You know, it was a 9-year in a 9-year cycle. Now, what does that mean? A lot of crazy, a lot of emotions, a lot of sadness, a lot of things letting go, endings. And from what I observed with these endings is a lot of people were leaving the planet. A lot of people that decided, I don't want to be here for this next 1,000 years. It's not fun this last 1,000. So in a 9-year, which we had in 2025, things hung on to that I energy. It was all about, I want this, I want that, I want this. And it was obvious to me when I was watching the presentations for the presidential campaigns, the Republican Party was still hanging on to I. Most of their talks were about, I will do this, I will do that, I. And the Democrats were talking about we will do this. Together we will forge a new frontier. And I could see the energy coming in of this new we energy for the next 1,000 years. And it's pretty important for us to realize we don't know how to do we. And so as we talk about we, think about, as Ella was talking about, energy. All of us are energy. This whole room, this whole planet's all about energy. We are all about energy. So the thing I want you to realize today is you can use your energy to help move into this we energy and bring the consciousness up to a higher level. Now, in order to do that, you have to really know and believe and understand who you really are. That's what I love about numerology. Ruben said, I gave him a reading a few months or years ago, and he said, I'm still trying to live into that. And what happens with a numerology reading is it helps you identify who you are by your birthday and the name on your birth certificate. Yesterday I was doing readings at Echo Bodine Center for about 6 hours, and what I was really impressed with is a bunch of newer people were coming, and they're in their 20 to 30s. Most of the time the people that come in for spiritual awakenings are in their 40s, 60s, 80s, and they're wondering, well, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? I haven't maybe doing it right. But now we've got the younger kids coming in. It was really fun to work with them. And I talked to this one fellow, John, and big, tall, 6'6" guy. He's an arborist, cuts trees down. He's a great guy. And a friend of his brought him in, and he's kind of nervous. He's like, I don't know what this place is. And so he circled around the building for about an hour and finally came by and said, I think I'm ready to talk to you. So I said, okay. So I could tell he was really nervous. And I said, John, tell me your birthday. He said, it's October. What day in October? October 5th. Oh. John, do you know that you have the ability to heal people with your hands? He's like, what? No, what are you talking? I said, hold your hands up and ask your hands to heat up. Let the energy start to flow through there. So he did, and we sat and chatted for a while. Pretty soon he reached over and put his hand on his friend's arm. And it's like, wow, your hands are really hot. He said, I know, what the heck's happening? That was his moment of realizing he's a healer. And so we went through his numerology chart and identified it in many different ways, that if he aligns himself, now that he sees and he believes it because his hands are still hot during the whole time we're talking. He believes and he starts to align himself. So we talked about what his alignment would look like over the next few years. He has a lot of numbers in his chart, like we all do, that say, okay, you've got this, but this is going to take it away from you. You're going to struggle between this and that. So we talked about his struggle energies, about not wanting to commit to something that permanent, that he would want to be a healer or that responsible. And that's what we're all going through right now. To find our true identity, to find out who we are at a core. Where's the source of our energy? And if we can find that, and we can believe it enough to align with it, that's when the power comes in. And when you can align with the source of who you are, the authentic you, this is the key for us making our next 1,000 years into a we energy. And I believe all of us that are alive at this time, and especially groups like this that want to know what can we do, we are all here on purpose to learn about our role to awaken ourselves to our true identity. And when you start believing that, and you start understanding it, and you start speaking it from in your source energy, your heart, your gut, your head, put all those three aligned, then you start making a difference to your friends, your family, and your community. So what I want you to know today, and hopefully you'll take home with you, is each one of you have a blueprint. And the blueprint will help you understand who you are. I know numerology does an excellent job with it. Before I knew about numerology some 35 years ago, I've been studying it. Astrology was where I went to look for my answers. And there's a lot of source energy in the numerology. So whatever plan you choose, and there's a lot of different ways you can use to find your authenticity. But once you find it, it's now time to align with it. And how do you align with it? That's what Lori and I call being authentic. Most of us wear a mask. I gave a talk on how we wear our masks here a few years ago. And we wear this mask because they're trying to be what everybody wants us to be. And after a while, that mask doesn't represent us anymore, so we have to take the mask off. And that is what this transitional period between 2025 and 2026 is all about. Taking off your mask. When you take off a mask, then you have to be authentic. And what does authentic look like? Well, you think more positively. You act with a proactive attitude. You help each other. And I think one of the biggest challenges is you become a little more transparent. The coaching work that I do with people to help them get to their authenticity, that seems to be one of the biggest stumbling blocks. How do I stay transparent? Because transparent to us looks like vulnerable. And we don't want to be vulnerable. Oh my gosh, people take advantage of us. I can remember all the times that they did. Well, transparent's different. Transparent means you're truthful to who you are, you have not put on a mask, and you let your true self shine through. Now that takes a little bit of work. You have to really study yourself. You have to do some work on practicing your words. Most of us are not so good at speaking from our emotional body. A lot of the work I do is getting people to use feeling words in their communication. And if I'm working with somebody or asking them, what are you feeling right now? I'm fine, I'm good, I'm okay. None of those are feeling words. We want to talk about, I'm concerned, I'm threatened, I'm open, I'm vulnerable, I'm transparent. Okay, those are feeling words. When you start working with feeling words from the inside, the core of who you are, that aligns with the person you're talking with. And then they get to talk with their feeling words. And that's how we build this we community. We start sharing what our concerns are from the inside, not from just our brain. Our brain's here to keep us safe and to plan things and get things done. Our heart's here to connect with each other. And Echo Bodine teaches an amazing class on intuition. She's been teaching classes for, 40, 50 years. And typically a live class, she'd have about this amount of people in here. And then she had, COVID came along, and so she had to teach online. And still about this amount of people showed up. A couple months ago, she said, her guide said, I want you to offer this class live. And she has a big center. If you haven't been there, go there. It's a 5,000 square foot center. It's got the energy like this does. And this one's a little more intense because it's such a spiritual anchor. She's in the Richfield area in the shopping center. But she put that announcement out. Within a week, 200 people signed up to take a class on learning how to be intuitive. Like, wow, she called me and she said, what do I do? I can't teach 200 at a time. So she broke it into several classes, some during the day, some at night. And Ella, you're in that class, I believe. No, you weren't once? Okay. So it so happens that as you go through learning how to trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust your heart, trust your head, you got to bring in that gut feeling too, because the gut is kind of the median between the head and the heart. So I'm telling you this because when you open those three centers, then you become more authentic. Your mind's always got good ideas, and it's always trying to figure out how we can become a better person or how we can make things better. That's a natural. We just do that. Our heart says, well, I'm a little bit afraid because I've been hurt before when I tried to open up. And so you have to learn how to open up without being vulnerable. And the way I suggest doing it is using feeling words in your communication. You don't become vulnerable then, you become available. And that's the first lesson we have to learn for this next 1,000 years. So I call this 1,000-year start this year, Awakening Your Destiny. Your destiny is what your soul decided to do when it came here. Your destiny is another word for fate. You're always guided to find your destiny, and it comes in many, many different ways. It's a gradual thing. We don't normally start out our life thinking, I get this destiny done this lifetime. We don't even know what it is. You get a numerology reading, I can tell you what it is. But what happens is somewhere in our 40s, somewhere between 42 and 47, we have what I call the midlife awakening. Society calls it a midlife crisis because everything goes upside down. People lose their job, they get sick, they get divorced, they get married, they do all these things that's out of line for them because now your destiny is whispering to you. Time to start awakening your destiny. And when you awaken your destiny, all of a sudden things start clicking into place. So your destiny starts out as subtle. My destiny is what they call a master number, 22-4. I had no idea what that was. When I look back on my life, the 22-4 is about an energy of earth, energy, grounding, farming, landscaping, anything to do with nature. Well, coincidentally, I ended up growing up on a farm for my first 15 years. I didn't know my destiny had that going on for me. So I moved out of there, and my very first full-time job was in landscaping. I worked for a landscaper and a nursery. And during that time, I taught myself how to landscape and design yards and bushes and shrubs and all that, and then I'd sell it and go out. And so that was another earth thing. Of course, that time, I'm in my 20s, I have no idea I'm on my destiny. Then I moved out of that and moved into construction. I started remodeling houses. Buy them, fix them up, sell them. Out of that, I moved into building houses. Out of that, I moved into being a real estate broker, always dealing with earth, practical application, and doing things to make earth or people a better place, and we find shelter in our homes. So all the time this destiny has been going on, I didn't know that. But what if you knew your destiny and you look back like, yeah, that's been guiding me the whole time? Lori, my wife, she's got a destiny, another master number. And her guidance, as I've looked at her chart, is she's here to inspire people. And if you haven't listened to one of Lori's talks, she's amazing. She'll get you up out of your chair and, yeah, let's do it. But throughout her life, as she told me, she's been doing things to align that destiny also. Putting on little plays, doing music. She taught music. She inspired people. Lori has her own band now. She's still inspiring people with her music. Now she talks, gives the inspiration for people to find their own destiny. She and I have created a program called Core Passion, which measures the frequency of your inner spirit. How do I find what's going on in here? It gives you the words to measure that. How do we get that? Meditation, and truth be said, our guides gave it to us. Took about 6 months to get all the information. We took it to a psychologist or psychiatrist that makes assessments, and she said, I can make an assessment out of this. Okay. So she spent a few months doing that, sent it out to get it validated to several hundred people to get it tested. Yep, it's valid. Yeah, it comes back. She said, now, if it doesn't come back valid, we've got to keep changing the words or the questions so that it becomes accurate. Okay. because it wasn't our words anyway, it was just words that we had. Came back in the high 90% accuracy the first time out. She said, "This has never happened." I said, "Well, you know we're on a spiritual path. This is where the words came from." She said, "This is amazing." Why did we create that? We created that because most people, especially in the business world, the I energy, I will do this better than anybody else, they don't like to talk about numerology and astrology to make themselves a better company. Very few do. So we asked our guides and our angels, how can we do that? How can we get into their soul to get them to wake up without scaring them? And that was the words that came through. That was the assessment we have. And now that it's validated, HR department says, this is good stuff. Let's bring it in. So we've watched people open up to their authenticity through finding their words from their inner spirit to become authentic so that they can live a better life and have a better company. The companies we have worked with totally evolve. They find their words. When we go around and help team building, and the people come in with their roles and what they're going to do, and what's the vision for the company this year, and then we put them into aligning that with their inner spirit, the company grows and everybody works together. It's a very cohesive team. That's what we're learning how to do in 2026 for the next 1,000 years. Become real from inside, find your words to share it, and then collaborate and make things happen. It's a powerful process. It's going to take 1,000 years, according to my numerology. It's going to be one at a time. The key piece that each one of us have in this room is when you find your words, you become authentic, you have a dream or a passion to help the world become a better place, then you just speak your truth from here. And when you speak your truth from your heart and your soul, the resonance starts, and everybody wants to be part of that. So, because everything's energy, you can measure the effectiveness of it. And so this year, because it's a 1 year in numerology, and I get that by adding the 2026, that adds up to a 1. In a 1 year, it's a new beginning, a new opportunity. And when we have a new opportunity, the first thing you want to do is have a dream or a goal and put some words to it. So how many in here have got words to their dream or their goal for this year? Okay. So, you see a few people are already on the path. I'm really going to suggest you find a way to put words to your dream. And most people, well, I don't know what I want. I can tell you what I don't want. I can give you a whole list of that. No, that's not what I want now. When you have words for your dream or your goal, and it comes from being authentic, not just what should you do, but if I could do whatever I wanted to do, what words would I use to get there? And Lori and I teach classes on that. We taught some live classes at Echo Bodine Center. And many people said, well, how do we get at it if you're not going to teach it anymore? Well, we might teach it a couple more times, but we put it online now. So you can go to Lori's website, corepassion.com. We take you through a process to find words for you to be authentic. And it's pretty intense because it asks you, what's the values that are important to you in life? And most people are like, what do you mean values? Whether we realize it or not, every decision we make comes through a set of values. And if you look on the internet, type in personal values, you probably get 100 of them or so. So we've narrowed down to the values that seem to be the most common, most important. We put that in there for you to choose from. And once you choose your values, all of a sudden you'll start to say, yeah, that feels like all my decisions come from there. Oh, okay. Now we got our head engaged. Okay, so now what do? Well, what's our soul want? Well, we have you take that core passion assessment to find your words. And I'll tell you, when you find your words and you speak those words in your communication, you're real. You're like the Velveteen Rabbit. People are going to be around you so much that you're going to be all depleted of any kind of inauthenticity there ever was, because people like to be around people that are real. And so now you have your head engaged with the values. Next thing we bring in is your soul. What's your soul's blueprint? And you take some choices out of that. It gives you a true, accurate picture of what does your soul want. Okay. So then we have you put your name and birthday in there. And that gives you your pillars, what I call your pillars of your numerology chart. Those 4 pillars are guides to every part of your numerology reading. And out of those 4 pillars is the blueprint of who you are. So now you've got the blueprint of your purpose here in life. So the final thing we ask for that doesn't come up very often is, what's the emotional rewards you want from doing this work to become a better, authentic person? And that was a tricky part. So we give you some choices in there. And then it calculates, here's who you are. Here's your values. Here's your soul's message. Here's your blueprint. And here's what your emotional reward will be doing all this. Why do we do that? Because people need to learn how to become authentic. When you're authentic, your life's much better. You don't try to do things because you should. You do things because you are. And when you are, all of a sudden, you get in alignment. And that's the key. You can understand who you are. You have to believe who you are. And the third thing is you have to align with who you are. And that alignment comes from the source of who we are out into the world. So this particular year, January, starts out as Awakening Your Destiny. In February, it's a 2 months, so we had to learn about relationships this year and explore our relationships. Which relationships do we have that fuel our soul, that we enjoy being with? And how many relationships do we have that we feel obligated and responsible for, that we no longer need that in our life and we need to let go of it? And the people I've worked with, that's really a tough one, because they've always taken care of certain things. They've always helped certain people and so forth. What it did for me is it helped me get clear on the people who wanted to learn more about who they wanted, or who they wanted to be in life, or did they just want to take up time processing what they thought they wanted to be. And so I had to let some of those people go out of my life that just kept draining my energy so that they could get some of my energy so they'd feel better. So if you think about it, in February, did anybody come out of your life or anybody come into your life to help you? That's what February is about, because it's a 2-month. March is a 3-month. So March is about being creative. Well, if I'm going to be authentic and I'm going to awaken my destiny, I got to get creative and start doing that. So that's what March is about. This April that we're in right now is a 4-month. And in a 4-month, we have to start planning. If we've created something, in order to make it work, we need to plan it. So in May, you want to start looking at how to be flexible and adaptable, because things don't always go the way we want as we're awakening our destiny or going forward with our dream or our plan. So you can see how we're kind of going up a little spiral. We're growing a little bit. What do we want? Who do we want to take with us? How do we want to create our life? How can we learn to make a plan? How do we want to be flexible? Because we're starting this new 9-year cycle, and we're not so good at doing the we energy yet, so we've got to learn to be flexible. It may not always show up as the way we want it to show up. Your dream may need some adjusting. And the good news is, this is a global consciousness. And if each one of us in this room decided to, okay, I'm going to let my heart shine, I'm going to stay positive, I'm going to awaken my destiny, I'm going to become authentic, and each one of us reach 1 to 10 people, how quickly that'll start spreading through the community, through the world. And I belong to a lot of networks that are global. And even though it seems like Minnesota, especially Minneapolis, seems to be the melting pot for things breaking down and rebuilding again, what we've gone through this year, there are global groups all over the world that are doing this kind of work. And it's good to know that there's many more of those than there are the nightmares going on. When we built our core passion assessment, Lori and I wondered, I wonder if this would work across all cultures. Well, we didn't have the means or ability or the desire to travel the world to try it out. So the universe says, they need something, let's give it to them. The University of Minnesota called us up and said, we heard you've got this amazing assessment that teaches people how to collaborate and talk together. We've got a group of people coming in at the Humphrey Institute to learn about our justice system from all over the world. Egypt, Iraq, Iran, all the troubled countries. Oh, would you guys be willing to work with them? Yeah. So we spent a couple years working with these folks, and it was amazing to watch them. When we first met them, the first day we met them and asked them to introduce themselves, these are high-ranking officials, governors, presidents, people from all over the world that had this ability to make decisions for their country. And we asked them to introduce themselves, and we thought we'd be training them something that day. But they postured so well with their mask on that by the time our 2-hour session came up, they had finally introduced the last person. It's like everybody knew the importance of what they had in their country. So we didn't get a chance to work with them that day. We had to come back a month or so later and like, okay, now you've all taken this assessment. Let's introduce yourself now with your new words. Oh my gosh, I can't say that. Yes, you can. Say it. Some people broke down, teared up, cried. It was so amazing to watch people speak from their heart and their soul. And after they spent time with us learning how to communicate and collaborate, they wrote what do they call it, manifesto. That's, I think, still hanging there at Humphrey Institute, how to build a collaborative global network and a team, being authentic. They loved it. And that changed the people from who they thought they were into being authentic. Now, each one of us have a different role in life, and that's what I love about numerology. We're not all the same. We can't all do the same thing, even though the Dare to Be Great books tell us if we just keep doing this and this like that person did, then we're going to be great. Well, that doesn't work. So I'm going to suggest each one of you find your own authentic self, either through numerology, astrology, or higher design, or there's dozens of things out there. But once you find that, it's time for you to align with that. Believe it and align with it. And you'll spend some time doing that because this fellow John, he's all lit up now and his hands are still warm and he's still wondering, what am I going to do with all this? Because I go out and cut trees. But I watched him as he networked around the center there yesterday. he had softened his energy. He was talking to people. He was helping them. One lady knocked over a big set of draperies or something. He came up and put it up. He became a helping hand. He wanted to be part of making her life a better place. And he came in just scared to death, wondering what he was going to do here. So as you get your own energy figured out and you align with it, then it's time to start sharing that. So in June, we've got a 6-month coming up. That's how do you build your family, friends, and community to this higher consciousness? That can be tricky because my sister and I have different beliefs, and especially happened since the election. So now all we can talk about is recipes. We can't go any deeper right now. A lady I did a reading for about a year and a half ago now, Carla Bainbridge, she called and wanted a reading. She said, Echo sent me to you. She said, I beat cancer doing it a natural way. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing, helping people? And I looked at her chart and I said, yeah, you're supposed to be doing something to help people awaken their world, and it does look like it could be in the area of health. Well, she said, I had stage 4 cancer. I was fighting it for years. I did some research. I found this natural process. I quit all the medical things. I got on that. 2 months later, I'm clear. I'm cured of cancer. Like, wow, really? And she wrote a book, sent me a bunch of books. She said, pass them out. Okay, and I have been passing them out. About 7, 8 months ago, my brother-in-law, my sister, the recipe lady, she called and she says, oh boy, John just diagnosed with cancer. Oh geez, okay. And got him on the treatments and chemo stuff, and he started losing weight and sleeping, and it was killing him. She said his life force is fading out of him. And I said, well, I got this lady that wrote the book. Here, I'll give you a book, and if you read it, see what you think. They liked what they read in the book. It's called The Truth About Beating Cancer. And Carla Bainbridge went on that program. 2 months later, cancer's gone. Wow. That's authentic. Carla's doing her work. She's authentic. She became transparent. Now, I've suggested that book to 2 other people I know really well in the last 2 weeks, both of them diagnosed with cancer. I just said, I've got some information, a natural way if you want to look at it. Neither one's called me back. I'm like, wow, okay. Well, maybe they're not ready to stay here. I don't know. But each one of us have to decide if we want to go the natural way, our authentic way, the medical way, with all of our decisions. And that's what this transition, moving between our old thinking and believing into our new thinking and believing. Not everybody's going to join it. But if you stay authentic, if you stay connected to your source energy, and you start thinking of we instead of I, it's so important for us to take that role and be authentic to do that. So I want you to think about that when you leave here today. And I want to show you a little bit that if we do that. I need a volunteer. Who wants to be a volunteer to come up and show a little bit about energy? You don't have to do anything other than smile. All right, let's ring this guy up. Good, yay. What's your name? Matt? Matt, is it? Oh, Matt, okay. Matthew, I'm going to just ask you to do a couple things. Let's stand about, I'm going to use, these are my magic measuring tools. You ever see those? Used them? Okay. Let's stand about 30 feet apart. Let's go over there. I just want to show you what you can do with your thoughts and your heart energy. So, Matt, tell me your name. Okay, let me just get these lined up now. Boy, there's so much energy in this room. Come on, settle down now. Just measure Matt's energy, okay? All right, let's just measure his energy, see where these start moving. Ooh, okay. Boy, Matt, you're strong. Oh, look at that. Matt, your heart's open. It's working. All right, let's go back here. So, Matt, think of something that really frustrates you. Well, think of something that disappoints you then. That just, we're going to tone down some of that energy, just see what happens. Is there anything that you could think of that causes you to be frustrated, maybe with our current situation in the state, any of that sort of thing? Okay, just see what you can to slow that down. I just want to measure your energy if you're not quite as excited about being Matt, okay? Let's just see that. There. So what that tells me is when we cut back on our heart energy, our authentic energy, and we think about things that frustrate us and be in fear, our energy just stays close by. So, Matt, I want you to think about something that opens your heart up even bigger than it normally is. Just think about something that really makes you really happy and open your heart and let your light shine from your heart, okay? You ready? Okay. Okay. All right, thanks, Matt. Thanks for helping. Appreciate it. I just wanted to show you the power that we have with our thoughts. And when you open your heart, you can measure it. Lori and I use this in the corporate world, and they're amazed. We used it in that group from around the world, and we gave them a set of measuring rods because they all tried it on themselves, you know. But I want you to take home today that you have the power to all of us to move into a we energy. You have the power to bring peace and love on this earth. We got 1,000 years to do it, so don't get frustrated if it doesn't happen tomorrow. But I'm asking each one of you to remember that, open those rods up and share your love, okay? Any questions that anybody has? No? Okay, good. Thank you for my, oh, you got a question. What is your question? Oh,
Hold on.
wait a minute. Ella's got to get you loud and clear.
Yeah.
What's the question?
Oh, all right. The Truth About Beating Cancer, that was the name of the book. And who was the author?
Carla Bainbridge.
Thank you.
The Truth About Beating Cancer. Okay, another. Ruben.
Wait, I saw her first.
Oh,
Ruben,
wait a minute.
Ruben. Sorry. Where can we buy those rods?
Where you buy the rods?
The divining rods, yeah.
I guess many stores have them. A friend of mine made these. It's a coat hanger with a piece of copper on it.
Is it copper?
Yeah, copper's the swivel part. Yep. Yep. But you can buy them for $25, $30.
Okay. I don't like to promote
You what?
Amazon necessarily, but I found some nice tools on Amazon.
Pardon? Pendulums. Pendulums work for a different. They measure chakra energies and that sort of thing. Yeah, I love pendulums. Yeah,
Hi, I was wondering what the name of the woman was who spoke about intuition. Something Dean?
the teaches Echo Bodine.
Echo Bodine.
Yeah,
Okay,
Echo
awesome.
Bodine. Yeah, she teaches classes on awakening your intuition. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. You've been great today too, by the way.
I see another question.
One more question here. A couple more, maybe.
Hi, at the beginning you talked about this tall guy that you just said you're a healer with your hands.
Yes.
How could you recognize that so quickly?
It's a good question. I saw in his birthday, October 5th. October's a 1, the day is a 5. Put them together, that makes a 6. 6 energies has a natural healing ability. So if you got a 6 in your chart, in your pillars, that's somewhere you're a healer,
Thank you.
a natural one. You can be trained to be a healer, but that natural stuff.
Yes.
Hi, you were great.
Thank
Just
you.
wanted to tell you that, very interesting. When do you teach classes, or what is your schedule? What do you do?
Well, go to my website, weshamilton.com, and I'll post things on there, or you sign up for my email, and I send out an email quite frequently with different classes. So,
Thank you.
Yep, good question.
Wes, I have a question for you. You mentioned some energies for April and May and June. Well, in July, I've got a lot of things planned. So what do you see the energy is about for July?
Yes. Okay, we're going to do a circle?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So I asked you a question. Did you?
I thought you were just
Where,
talking.
where were you, Wes?
I was listening to you, but not hearing you.
So my question was, you mentioned energies for April,
Yes.
March, April, May, and
Yeah.
June. What about July? Because
Oh,
I've
you
got
want
some
all the
things.
secrets?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Just
All right.
July. We can go
All
as
right.
far as July. That's all we have time for.
July says it's a 7-month. It's time to look inside to see if you're ready to be authentic. Yeah. And August says, now that you've decided, go make it happen.
Okay.
But follow my newscast. It's on there. I forecast every month, and I give you detail, and Lori and I do a meditation that we take you to the land of enchantment, where magic happens. It'll help you live into the energy we write about.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Wes. That was very insightful.
Thank
I made some notes so that I can remember things. Now, if you didn't take notes and you want to go back and relive this event, go to YouTube and look for your LHSC. That's our YouTube channel, and all of our services, our 1030 services, are live streamed and uploaded to YouTube. So, but you said one thing that keyed into what I've been working on the last couple of weeks, and that's on my diet. People have been saying you need to do probiotics, you need to do prebiotics, and you got to get your gut healthy. I was wondering why. You said trust your intuition and your gut, because the gut is the median between your head and your heart. So maybe that's why there's such a focus on having a healthy gut. So thank you for that. Okay, everybody take a deep breath. One more. All right, just let all this yummy energy sink in. Okay, cool. Well, now it is time for some financial discussion here. LHSC is funded by donations, and in a moment the ushers will be passing the baskets, which include Venmo QR codes. Now, your donations are a source of energy, which allows us to keep the lights on and bring all these amazing speakers like Wes and the other experiences we have here to you. We invite you to be a partner with us in supporting this spiritual community. Give what you can give today, but also consider becoming a regular donor. You can visit our website, lakeharrietspiritualcommunity.org, and there's a Donate Now button, so you can set up monthly donations. Another way to support our community is by volunteering. So, I got a question for you. Is anyone super skilled in social media, marketing, content creation, writing, video editing, photography, or general creative support? If you are, we're looking to form a small volunteer social media and content task force to help expand our presence and get the word out about our events. We would love your help in promoting, filming, creating, and sharing content that brings more people in the door who are looking for a high vibration community. Now, if you feel called to give back and support in any of these ways, we have some volunteer forms out in the garden room, so you can fill those out. There's a QR code on there as well. So consider filling that out. Now, we do have an immediate need, so I think it's the second Sunday of every month. It's the third Sunday. Thank you, Allie. The third Sunday of every month between the 9 a.m. and the 10:30 service, we have a what I call a refreshment and conversation get together. So we'll need some help on May 17th. That's the next time, and bringing treats, setting up refreshments, that sort of thing. So we're asking for volunteers. So you can fill out the form. You can talk to me afterwards. And then Allie in the back, you want to raise your hand? You can also raise Allie. You can also talk to Allie. She's already a grown woman. You don't need to raise her. But see Allie, and she can give you more details. Okay, so thank you for what you can give.
Be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Wow, that was a powerful song. Thank you, Gary. All right, ushers. I wish I could stay around for the next 1,000 years to see how things happen. No, I'm not coming back here. No. All right, so if you'll help me bless the offerings by repeating after me. God's perfect love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Oh, all right. Okay, so thank you very much. So what we like to do as a closing is to circle up, and Wes will send us on our way with some parting thoughts. So if you want to gather up, I think we have enough people to circle up around the middle section here. So we'll see.
All right, well, let's take a us into a meditation. Let's close our eyes. And again, take a deep breath in. Hold it. Slowly let it out. One more deep breath in. Hold it. Slowly let it out. One more deep breath in. Hold it. Slowly let it out. Now in your mind's eye, place your consciousness up where the sun is. And behind the sun, there's another sun called the solar light. Bring that energy down through your crown chakra, down through your neck, and into your heart. Now anchor that light from your heart down to your legs, your feet, and to the ground. With this heart light, activate that and send that light out 360 degrees around your body, at least 6 feet. And now out a little farther, 20 feet. And now 100 feet. And now into the community outside. And now into the state of Minnesota. And now into the United States. Now open your heart energy. Activate that soul energy from being authentic of who you are. And send that light out in pulsing beams, in pulsing the beats of your heart. Now thank our soul consciousness and God, so that we can become authentically who we are and align and activate our destiny. And so it is.